How's it going, everyone? I am Honan,
I'm Oliver.
and this is our first episode since I have returned from Seoul.
Yeah, it's kind of weird seeing you not in person
It is, yeah. It's like, cause,
after having spent all that time.
especially seeing us not hungover in person.
Yeah, or just while drunk, or
Yeah,
in
yeah.
in the early hours of a Monday
Yes, a
morning, or
5 a.m. waiting for the train to reopen.
yeah,
Neither
it
of
was a
our
good
faults.
it was a good trip.
It was. It
No,
was. It
neither
was a
of our
great trip.
faults actually. We were very innocent. Um, yeah, we'll kind of do like a retrospective of the whole trip after we kind of catch up on all the news. Like some of this stuff was kicking off like while you were here,
Yeah.
so we didn't really have time to like properly go into it. Like the stuff like TOP confirming he left Big Bang. I think we kind of suspected that, but it was just he was like kind of officially set it in stone, which is sad. But he's more preoccupied with going to space or whatever.
With some like
So
Japanese billionaire or something. Isn't that who it's like
yeah,
the
it's like some Japanese billionaire was like, yeah, I'm gonna pay like TOP and Steve Aoki and a bunch of other people and fucking put them on a rocket and send them to space. Like, given the recent shit that happened with that submarine, I'm kind of like, oh god, like,
yeah.
like update. The rocket has left its trajectory and is now just veering off
Yeah,
into the
what
great
wait is
unknown.
what company's making the Rocky?
Yeah, so I hope it's made out of better material than that.
Hmm.
So I guess the first thing we'll do, or main thing we'll do, is Luna update 1.2 billion to the power of x minus 10 or something. I don't know.
Yes.
Um, so all of the members of Luna have now succeeded in their contract terminations
Yeah.
after having failed initially. Some of them have now succeeded, um, and Hassel has signed for Mod House. Hyunjin and Vivi, I think we talked about already. Maybe I don't remember. Signed for a different company, and the rest are still, waiting to find out what they're gonna do. Um, so that I don't know. That's both a good thing and a bad thing, I guess, in that it means that you know, they're in different directions, which is
Yeah,
gonna
they're all
make it harder.
separate.
Yeah. So if all of the rest of them end up going to Mod House as well, then obviously that makes it, you would think, easier to coordinate. But if they all end up in very different locations, it's going to be hard you would think, to get everyone together.
So if the rest end up at Mod House, only two are at a separate company.
Yeah. So Mod House has the Odd Eye Circle girls plus Heejin and Hassel, and the Odd Eye Circle girls are having a comeback next month. They're having a release, I guess. I don't know if you could. I guess you would call it a comeback because it's still under the old name, right? But
Yeah.
um, so that's gonna happen, I guess.
And
And
they're also
then
running Triple S, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So they'll have two groups going. Um, Hopefully, there's enough people there to manage it, because there's been a lot of complaints in the news lately about people with companies that don't seem adequately equipped to provide for their artists. We've seen a lot of trucks. I think that one of the comments I've been seeing now on like Korean news sites about this is just people saying the only people who are profiting from this is the truck ajashi, the guys who drive those protest trucks. What a cushy job! You just park it outside a building, post up, chill, listen to some music, watch
I mean,
TV.
someone's got to do it,
Like
right?
someone's got it's good honest work. Because like IU is getting protest trucks about something I don't fully understand yet. We'll have to talk about this more, and when we get like concrete stuff about it, because I have no idea. It was like some law cases or something. I thought it was to do with the plagiarism stuff that happened, but apparently it's something else.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
who protests IU's company. I feel like actually does a
but
really good job. Like,
right, a lot of people saying, like, I always felt like they were doing pretty good, and people were shocked to learn that there's only 19 employees just for her,
yeah,
which
she
is
just played like the Olympic
quite a lot.
stadium like last year or something, right?
So yeah, I don't know.
The same
But
place
then,
Bruno Mars just strolled into.
yeah, God, the whole industry was like, actually was pissing people off, because apparently a lot of those guys, the celebrities, didn't have to pay for tickets, so they didn't have to
uh,
get tickets like the
come
rest of
on. I
us,
mean, what?
you know. But
If
it
I'm
meant that
putting on a massive concert and someone tells me, "Hey, set aside 50 tickets for like this person," that I'd be like,
yeah,
"Yeah,
sure, yeah.
yeah, do
But
it." Like,
there was pretty funny things where like they didn't. There were so many celebrities that went to that the normal areas where they put celebrities didn't have enough seats. So they had some of them just went into like general admission areas. So there's a great clip of freaking Rose and Ashley from Ladies Code like walking into just like the general seating area, and people were like looking around like, "Yo, holy shit!" Like,
someone took like a picture of all of La Seraphim up front or something
yeah,
too.
yeah,
I think, yeah.
it was pretty wild
I
stuff.
saw all
But
the clips of him just going, "My Caribbean baby."
oh no, it reminded me of that bit that of Taeyang. You know, have you
Yeah.
seen that clip where he comes out and he does that like ad lib where he's like half singing, half talking, and it's like
Yeah,
really
and he says
bizarre.
like shit shit in Chinese
Yeah,
or something and everything. Yeah, yeah.
it reminded me of that. But people who've been complaining about not having adequate concert sizes is Taeyeon's fans.
Mm.
So she obviously we went to see her in kicking off her tour in Seoul, and it was freaking lit.
I mean, I'm not gonna complain because I got to see her so much better. You know, like
Yeah,
I very much enjoyed the show I was at. So
I mean
it's
that venue I think was a perfectly appropriate size. You know,
it's a big
uh,
venue. Yeah, like I
it's like
understand that she could have filled out the
right,
other Olympic stadium, I'm sure, or
probably,
whatever. Like, but then I would have been
but I
sitting as an
think
ant. Like,
yeah, I think the venues in like I think it was like Indonesia maybe or what it was one of the countries she was going to in Southeast Asia. The venue was like a third of the size. I think it was Indonesia. It was like the third of the size of the one that we saw. So it was like a 5,000 seat stadium or something.
mm.
And they were basically like, "Yo, the population of Indonesia first of all is like 200 million, and second of all, like it's Taeyeon, like she's really popular, like she, you know, they can do better than this." And it seemed like Taeyeon herself was not like aware of the venue until like quite late because she reposted like a picture of the concert poster with like a kind of emoji next to the venue side or something. And then she unfollowed her own official account on Instagram or
Yeah.
something. She's basically been really shady.
Yeah.
Um,
I can understand being disappointed if, like, because I'm sure she trusts, like, SM usually to just, that's their job.
right.
Like, you know, like, and then I'm gonna show up and perform. Like, I have to work on my performance or whatever. And you get there and it's like, what is this? Or
Yeah,
something, you
yeah.
know, like,
And just in general, I think that people are just dissatisfied with the promotion and stuff. There was someone showed a clip, like a side by side of the Esper official account and then Taeyeon's official account, and it was like Taeyeon's had one post, while Esper's had like 9 or whatever about like promoting their stuff. It's just like a bit of disparity in that regard. But not the end of the
I
world. But
do
what's quite funny.
follow the. Sorry, go ahead, continue.
So what's quite funny is that they sent the trucks. The trucks came out to SM, and SM called the police to try and get them taken away. And the police instead checked. They like investigated and decided that it was illegal, like a lawful protest, and then permitted the trucks to stay instead and
Yeah,
told
why?
SM that they couldn't make them leave.
How could the why would they think they could just be like, hey, yo, get rid of those trucks outside or whatever?
Yeah,
There's no legal precedence for being like, hey, those protest trucks outside, I want them gone. Or
yeah.
whatever. Like, so the official account she unfollowed, I actually follow that account too. Like her, and it is a weird account the way it posts. Like I remember it posted two blank pictures of just black squares between
Right.
finally posting like a picture of her, and I was just like, nothing written underneath it or anything and stuff. And I was like,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
is happening over there? Did someone just have like a brain aneurysm and
Or
hit
maybe
like
maybe they're
the
just trying to like align it, make it
I
look pretty or whatever.
I
But
don't know, but I was like, this is an official like run account, right? I was like, and I'm just getting random like spam black images that don't have anything written under them, and then I think they did like finally delete them and put the right image up or something. But I was just like, you're like a professionally ran
yeah, like who's
Instagram
doing that?
account.
Like,
Like,
yeah,
someone's getting paid to do that. I was
yeah. It's very strange.
Maybe I thought at first because I saw the comments underneath because they posted that like after what you're talking about where she had followed them where it was like a morning Taeyeon unfollowing them thing or something was what
Yeah,
people
yeah,
were putting in the comments as a joke.
yeah,
But yeah, it's that is funny. She just like shaded them like that, where she's just like, I'm gonna unfollow you.
yeah. But SM in general have been in a kind of messy situation lately. I mean, when are they not? But so they had EXO CBX, so Chen Bacon and Xiumin, um, filing to terminate their contracts.
Yeah,
It felt like this is a very common thing nowadays. It certainly seems like precedent has been set. Maybe it's going to be like the Chew turning point or something that suddenly has inspired a whole bunch of the industry to go and do this whenever they feel dissatisfied. So they said that that they didn't feel like SM was playing fair and not revealing their financial statements and stuff like that, and that they were tied to like really long contracts that had like kept having extensions and stuff like that. I know that SM obviously years back, the whole like slave contract thing with TVXQ was like what they realized it was revealed that there was tied to like 15-20 year long contracts, and that was why they had that ruling which made it like 7 years. And SM had found a way around that where they were like, as long as you have a music release every year or every 2 years or something, then you have to sign like another 5 year extension on your contract or something like that. It was some ridiculous thing like this. And they basically had a bit of a scrap publicly. Because initially they said that there was another company, Big Planet, which is the company which has like Vivi's and Soyu and Lee Mijin and people like that on it, were trying to steal Chen Bacon and Xiumin away, trying to assign them. They were these external forces, which is a term we're going to hear a lot.
yeah.
But they said that the reason they said this was because MC Mong, who was like a founder or some kind of affiliate or something member of the company, that he's not a director or anything like that. He's just some related. Maybe he's a founder or something. I don't know. He's a pretty controversial figure in Korea because he tried to dodge his military service. So he's always been a bit controversial. But he went for dinner with them, but just like bros hanging out, and they were like, "You're stealing our identity." So obviously Big Planet came out and were like, "No, we're not." And eventually it actually ended up being resolved amicably. Apparently, Chen Bacon and Xiumin said, "Okay, we've had talks. We've reached an agreement. We're going to stay with SM. The EXO comeback is happening as planned, without Kai, obviously, who was rushed into the military, like we talked about. But yeah, so for now, it seems like for SM at least normalcy is kind of restored, apart from the protest trucks.
It's interesting it got resolved. It's just like I don't know. Hey, actually, we're fine, or something kind of thing. Like is
yeah. Well, I mean, I imagine that SM they probably looked at the size of the legal case and then the amount of money that they needed to pay to CBX and were like, yeah, okay, I'm going to go with the smart option here, and just did what they needed to do, and that was that.
That whole arc was like starting and occurring as I arrived.
Yeah,
in Seoul, basically. Like,
I mean, I remember like we were sitting in the hotel bar and I saw the news and I was like, "Yo,
yeah,
what is going on?" And then also like I've drunk too much scotch to be able to process this right now.
When we went to the SM building, me and my brother, it was the museum and all that stuff was like shut down.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was because of that happening, but it was interesting. Like,
maybe, yeah.
It was like I went there and it was like, yeah, there's just the Kwangya store, and then everything else is closed. It's like, okay,
you can only go to Kwangya.
Yeah, you can only, and the Kwangya store was like not what I was expecting, I guess you'd say. It was like you go underground on like a escalator beneath what is this like SM building next to you, and then when you're under there, there's a Gordon Ramsay pizza restaurant, and then the Kwangya store.
Gordon Ramsay,
and like
Gordon Ramsay is Kwangya confirmed.
And it's not like a giant store. It was a cool store. Like it had a lot of cool stuff in there and like signed albums and stuff. But I walked in and it was like this kind of tiny corner underground store. and then there's
Yeah.
like,
And
and as all people do, I bought a Irene season's greetings, as you do when you go to Kwangya.
in June, like
Yeah. Listen, so everyone's like, "Why'd you buy Irene?" I was like, "Have you seen Irene?" I'm like, I'm looking at the season's greetings, and I was just like, "Oh, there you go." Like, it just worked out that way.
Winter was all sold out, huh?
She was, yes.
Yeah.
Winter and Solgi were sold out. That's
Oh,
not why I ended up with Irene, though.
tragic. So I guess in other news, we'll do the other contract situation. So this still developing, so we don't fully we don't have all the information yet, and some of it can be kind of confusing because of the nature of the company, the way it's set up. So about a week ago now, 5050's company came out and they were like, "Hey, so you know how our song has become like this ultra viral global mega hit, and we said that we were going to have these like US promotions and stuff, and we were going to try to capitalize on its success and stuff, and then we haven't done that. We're going to let you know like wagwan. We're going to tell you why." So first of all, they said that Aran was she had some health issues and that she needed surgery, and she was going to be out for like months or something. And then they started talking about, just like SM, the external forces, who said that they were trying to induce the agency artists to, this is their wording, make the wrong decision to ignore their valid exclusive contracts and sign contracts with them. This act is an act that tramples on fans' pure love. It can greatly damage the image and potential of these artists who only debuted 7 months ago, and furthermore have a serious adverse effect on K-pop as a whole. And then it's like they went this very dramatically worded statement. I was like, although we started off as a small company, we had a dream bolder than anyone else. Despite difficult financial situations, we have overcome adversity and written new history in K-pop. So I was like,
Dave, you know when whoever wrote that, when they posted it, they're like, "This is."
They were like, I have hooked it, bro. I have dropped the banger, yeah. And then as we reflect on Admiral Yi Sun-shin's words, those willing to die will live no matter what. Those trying to spare their lives will die no matter what.
They pulled up a quote of an admiral.
It was honestly, it's you could like, if you put it in black and white and put like a cheering crowd in Europe, it could read very.
They just need like Winston Churchill speaking that all over the top.
Yeah, that's one of the people I was thinking of. Yeah, it was strange, but everyone was kind of like, "Oh man, yeah, that sucks, but fair enough. We hope Aaron gets well soon."
Yeah,
and and I think that obviously the downside is it's like the buzz of Cupid, which was riding for like a couple of solid months, has kind of started.
I think it's actually very detrimental to them that they didn't have like a promotion tour kind of off of it like that.
Yeah, if they had hit right at the right time, like it could have been really, really huge for them.
Like US promotion could have been huge for them, like right at, it's played on like 102.7 all the time, which is like the pop radio station in the United States.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
it's like,
I hear it like all over like YouTube. Like I guess it's migrated from TikTok and stuff. Like I just hear it on. It's always the sped up version now, though. But I just constantly hearing like just hearing it in the background of like cooking videos and shit, and I'm just like, oh, So then, like a couple of days later, then they came out and said that the third party, the external forces, will actually Warner Music Korea, which was strange because, of course, they signed that partnership with Warner for the global promotion stuff, right? So like Warner were going to be their US distributor and do all that stuff. So the fact that they then said that it seemed like some Warner people, obviously Warner in America and Warner in Korea are different people.
yeah.
Somewhere, someone, whether collaboratively or not, was trying to lure them and make them sign for Warner.
It's interesting they actually publicly like said who it was. It's almost like smarter if they didn't say anything about who it was.
Yeah. Specifically, they said they announced that they had sent Warner a certification of contents after learning that they'd been involved in discussions with an outside party, so yet another party, about buying 50/50 from their agency. And they requested that Warner Korea made a precise explanation and statement of their official position. Warner came out and said, "Nah, we didn't. What are you talking about?" Uh, basically just said, we signed the distribution deal. We're really sorry about these suspicions, but the claims are groundless. The grounds are claimless, and we're regretful about the situation. Don't speculate groundlessly. Blah blah blah. And everyone was like, okay, so what is happening? Who do we actually believe? Well, then as of yesterday, which is 27, 50/50's agency filed criminal charges against their supposedly former co-CEO, Ang Sung-il Xian. So they were turning. Oh no, but he still lists himself as their co-CEO. By the way,
and he's the co-CEO of Attract, right?
Of 50/50's label.
Yeah.
So, which makes it weird because you think like I don't even know if it was his voice that was making those statements before, if it was the other.
Yeah, it had to be the other half, right? Like
right, it's hard to. It makes that hard to figure it out. He still holds that he's the co-CEO, and so this is the first time they've even said that he's the former CEO. And they said that they're filing straight up criminal charges against him as the CEO of the creative content development group called The Givers, which sounds like cult.
Yeah.
So they said that he and 3 other individuals are being sued for fraud, breach of duty, and obstruction of business. And basically that he was it seems like when he was supposed to be handing over work-related stuff, he was deliberately obstructing it, doing stuff like changing passwords, taking control of accounts, making it impossible for people to access them, deleting
as you
emails,
do when you've done nothing wrong,
And then he tried to delete the fan cafe, like the official fans cafe thing. And stuff like that, and it generally everyone was just like, "What is going on?"
That comment Ava shared was like perfect, where the guy was like, "They're speed running the K-pop experience." Yeah, just 7 months, and they're like, "Boom! I'm suing my CEO."
Yeah, number 1 hit, suing the CEO, filing for contract. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So then it said that they, the Givers who they purchased Cupid from the Swedish dude or whatever who made the beat or whatever,
the rights to
and
it.
Then and then they didn't provide the necessary information about the copyright purchase, and they secretly put the copyright in their own name without the knowledge of without the knowledge of a track. So the song is like, the lyrics wise is like credited to like a couple of songwriters and Kina, the member. So that obviously means that a lot of the royalties should go at least to her.
Mm-hmm.
And that obviously has been the foundation of their own personal complaint, which has led to, as of today, on the 28th, 50/50 members filing to suspend their exclusive contracts with Attract, where they said that the reason they haven't said anything while this has all been going on is because the trial is currently underway, and they filed the injunction as of June 19th, so before the initial statements and everything all got made. So Attract and Warner, whatever, were all having this debate while this was secretly underway.
Yeah.
So they basically said that the company hasn't been listening to them, that they're trying to extort them, that they shouldn't have disclosed the details about Aaron's health and surgery and stuff without consulting her. That there's been several breaches of contract. They haven't been transparent with settlements, which is obviously something we've been hearing a lot lately. They've been trying to enforce scheduled activities despite poor health conditions. And from what we can tell, the fact that this money thing is also meant that they haven't been getting what they think they should have been.
How did they do the rights purchasing thing? So Kia is involved in the lyrics and everything, right? How did they do like the rights purchasing and transfer without her being involved in the process?
It seems like they told her that they had done that, and then
because she would have to be like a part of that process or it's like such a like
Yeah,
hey, this
so
person who wrote
it's
lyrics in this thing we're buying the rights to, like
it's really really messy.
because that
Yeah,
seems
it's
like a
really messy.
huge legal breach if they made a mistake there or whatever, you know what I mean? Like you can't just be like, oh, we'll tell her later or
Yeah,
something.
so
Like,
it says in this article from the Korea Jungang Daily, the givers delayed the handover of its data to attract deleted company email account, just deleted the account, and other data with its business instruction. They claimed that the Attract claimed that the givers took copyright ownership of the song Cupid without informing the agency. And of course, the givers is headed by the co-CEO of Attract. So it's like an internal coup thing. The song was registered as having been produced by An, who is the CEO, the co-CEO, Ahin, not Ahin from Momoland, as some people thought, and Kina on the KMCA, the Korean Music Copyright Association website. However, only Ahin and Kina participated in writing the lyrics. An took part in producing and arranging, and then the composers from Sweden, Adam von Mintzer, Mac Filend-Tsai, and Louisa
it's
Uden
always
took part in
Swedish
producing and arranging.
composers.
Always, always. What you do in Sweden is just make K-pop songs. They were all admitted from the Comca copyright registration. So it seems like he tried to solo register it.
Man, if I
like
was those Swedish dudes, I would have wanted to like hang on to those rights.
And do you remember they were getting there was even the plagiarism stuff like a couple months ago, right? Where that
Yeah.
guy was like, "Oh, it's Michael," and they were like, "No, it's not." It's crazy that was all happening at the same time. But yeah. So I think you can sum it up as like just greed, like human greed.
They have to have like
Yeah.
these companies have to have legal experts around or whatever all the time. You would think one would just be like, "Hey, I think this is kind of setting up for some real bad shit here."
Yeah.
Like, you know, like this could go wrong, you know, like as they're doing that. But like,
it's it's. I think it's the kind of thing when you have really small agencies and small companies, you have people running the agencies who don't know what they're doing, so they can't tell when someone is doing something shady.
Yeah, but it just takes like one lawyer to be like,
yeah, of course,
this isn't gonna turn out.
You can't afford that one lawyer, right?
Yeah,
or it's like you have just the issues with seniority and stuff where like my boss does shady shit all the time and everyone knows it, but we're all like, well, he's the boss, like what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, it's rough, and you really hope that as more of these kind of cases develop, that there'll be more laws put in place to kind of protect the artists better. So God knows what will happen next. Obviously, I hope the best for the 4 members, of course.
It is interesting to see how
like
quickly
no allies.
Like they've only debuted 7 months ago, but it is actually kind of like comforting to see that they can just like very easily file an injunction. And stuff. Like I feel like maybe before Chu's whole thing and stuff like that might not have been as easy of a thing for them to just be like, let's go file an injunction against them, you know, like
it's definitely like the trendy thing to do now. Yeah,
which is good. I think it's good for the artist to have that power to be like, hey, you're scared of me? All right, here we go. Like,
to have that kind of that bargaining chip with the company to be like you can't screw me. I will
take you to court.
Nam Do-hyun from Bay 173, he just successfully also filed an injunction and terminated his contract.
It's interesting to see it be successful a lot or whatever. I guess before people would have thought, like the government's gonna screw them. Right, like they'll definitely go for the corporations like side of things and stuff like that. But
generally speaking, they do tend to back the artist, which is
I think because
their claims are usually justified.
Yeah, not only is it justified, but I also think just because it's like it's better, I think, for the space as a whole in general, probably is the thought process behind that too. Like, hey, this is kind of getting a little ridiculous or something, you know, like.
And I think maybe also in like a wider sense, as K-pop becomes more and more global, you get more of that, like the generic Western coverage of the dark side of K-pop, and they don't like the idea of like, oh, these poor artists like just thrown under slave contracts and just getting mistreated by their companies left, right, and center. Like they want to, clean up the image, basically. So obviously this story is still developing. It's been blowing up constantly for the last few days.
It's kind of
Just
happening
like
so much. I imagine the government at some point is just going to be like, all right, we have to make some sort of like
there's gonna be
put
another war
law
about
in
it.
place
Yeah.
or something to like, just because this is getting like happening way too often or something, like there's got to
Yeah.
be some sort of like thing they're planning to do
Yeah,
with how
you'd
often
hope
it's
so.
happening.
You'd hope so. It certainly seemed that like once we had that change in law from after the Chew thing, that it's become people have been taking that to full advantage, and yeah, hopefully there'll be more stuff to protect artists going forward.
Chew, I just love the idea of Chew just being like this toppler of mega corporation, like evil in K-pop. Just
Yeah.
this like Chew the revolutionary, like,
Yeah,
it's
Chew holding a flag and like
yeah,
everyone
it's
following behind her. Yeah.
because it really was pretty. She's like definitely the big case of it, like the
Yeah. I mean, we obviously we had legal cases in the past, but that was the one which kind of led to this.
I guess she's like the big successful like
Yeah,
version
absolutely.
of it happening, like where you're like, oh, this worked. Like,
Yeah. Well, in a sense, it worked for her. How well
yeah.
it's worked for Luna as a whole, depending on how much their future activity.
The way the other members seem to be
They're
so
all they're happy.
happy to get
Yeah.
away,
Yeah.
so it seems like it just
And
had to happen. Like,
that's what matters. Yeah. In the end, I think even if Luna
so, like,
never come back together again, I think as long as they're happy.
Yojin posted like Dobby is free or something
Yeah.
on like Instagram. Yeah, Yojin seemed like she was definitely ready to get out of there. If you look at like the Instagram stories,
I think they all were for sure. So then the other thing that's been blowing up lately is the Basque terrorist organization that apparently has become the basis of New Jeans' new
okay, I
comeback.
just saw you guys post about this in the Discord the other day because I didn't know what the hell was going on with the New Jeans thing, and then like Nicholas posted like a list of all the things that were in the teaser. Like it was like a 30-second teaser or something, and it had that many things in it that correlated. Apparently,
Yeah.
So
I must admit, like I wasn't even fully sure of the whole list of everything. I didn't watch the teaser itself, but I saw the initial thing ETA. Like, okay, that is innocuous because for us it just means estimated time of arrival, right? Like,
yeah.
that's not at all unusual. But then they had those three names, Mikkel, Maria, Ava, and I was like, okay, what's that about? And I mean, I knew of the existence of, I knew of the history of the
yeah. I didn't
group,
know about this like Basque terrorist thing, right?
Yeah.
But I watched the teaser having no idea what the hell correlated to any of that. I just thought it was like a weird, colorful teaser with them with blonde hair and stuff. Like I didn't get it really.
No, I still haven't seen the teaser, so I don't know. But I didn't know the names of the exact people. I knew of the existence of the thing, and then so ETA, for those who don't know, stands for, I'm going to butcher my ability to speak Basque, which is limited. Euskadi ta Askatasuna, which is a terrorist group which operated technically from 1959 through to 2018, so quite a while, in the Basque regions of Spain and France. They're a leftist separatist group that argued for the separation of the Basque region from Spain to be ruled as an independent country. And over the course of their activities, they were responsible for more than 850 deaths and 3,000 injuries, most of which were in Spain, which made a deep wound in contemporary Spanish society. They're responsible for a lot of car bombings and terrorist attacks and general, unpleasantries. Some of which were very famous and very noteworthy, like when they killed the heir of the dictator Francisco Franco in 1973, which I talked about a bit in the Discord, like this insane where they blew up his car and it flew like 20 meters into the air and cleared a church and landed on a house 2 blocks over. Like, it's just crazy how much they blew that car up. And yeah, so the names is what makes it very suspicious. So like there's other stuff which, like I say, I can't verify. They said that it looked like it was filmed in Spain, and then the car was one of the
same
like
model or something. They're saying,
yeah. And that the date of the comeback is the same date as when the leader was sentenced. But it turns out Mikkel was the like leader of the ETA, and Maria was his wife. So those two alone it's like too
Is it
much.
actually the date? Is that like a
Yeah,
confirmed thing?
yeah, I think
The
so.
date he was sentenced is the date of the release. Like that is
Yeah,
just like
it's like too much, right?
too many things to line up
Yeah,
for like
and
coincidence or whatever. Like obviously I think it's ridiculous to attack the members of New Jeans for this or whatever. I don't think like Danielle or any of the members from New Jeans were like, yo, that Basque terrorist group was fire or something. You
yeah,
know,
no, no,
like
no, of
I
course
don't
not.
think they even know what the hell
Oh no,
that
of
was
course
and
not.
what happened or anything. Like you
Um,
know, but
yeah, it just. I mean, I often think that a lot of conspiracy theories and stuff that kind of happen in the K-pop world are often very much reaching and clutching at straws and stuff. But this is like it seems like it's just too many things to to dismiss. Like why include those three names and like why
yeah.
those three? You know, especially the Mikel, the spelling Mikel. Like that's like in Spanish, it's like it's normally Miguel, right? Like
Mm.
if you want it for Michael, but that spelling is specific to the Basque region. Like it's like, or unless you're John Obi Mikel,
Yeah,
the
it's like
Nigerian footballer,
the
but
person runs their concept is the same lady that did FX,
yeah, Min Heejin,
and
yeah,
she's been running all their concept stuff, right?
yeah.
So she's in charge of this too.
Yeah,
Okay, I just like
she's no stranger to controversy, as
no,
we know.
I just like it's interesting direction to go after
Yeah,
after what we just had. I mean, my biggest thing is just why I guess like because
yeah,
you're already huge, every concept has already been really successful. I feel like especially you just had like oh my god and what was
which
the
itself was kind of controversial because it was like it was like straitjackets in a mental ward,
yeah,
right?
but
It
I
was
think
like it
nobody
was that
people kind of got over it, I feel like pretty quickly
yeah,
or whatever, you know, like no one was like hanging on to
people
the
did complain, but it didn't make it as much noise, you know.
yeah,
But
and Ditto and everything was really
yeah,
big, and then it was like, okay, just like you obviously have a style that everyone is really enjoying. You've been doing this kind of weird concept, but everyone's behind it, kind of
yeah.
thing,
I mean,
enjoying
people
it.
are ultimately people are just messing with the music, right?
Yeah,
And the main music producer, the guy 250, I have huge respect for him. I think his music is really cool. He's won awards for his own music, like as a soloist, and he's been making these just bangers for for New Jeans. But and I think it's because it has like a fairly distinctive sounding to it, like the way that their music sounds is quite different from a lot
no,
of
they
what other
really
groups.
sound like them and like not like anyone else
Yeah,
in K-pop and stuff right now. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I the only
there's no
reason
need.
someone would do this would be
Yeah,
like shock
like noise marketing.
yeah, noise marketing, and
Yeah,
they have zero need of such
yeah.
marketing,
And
so I
it's like
don't like
the desire to do something different and experimental is which is what they said that the music for this comeback is going to sound like. And obviously not the whole comeback is themed around this because they have a collab with the Powerpuff Girls as part of it or something. I don't know what exactly is going to happen with that, but something along those lines.
I
um
let me put
it's
I would
just yeah.
this might be a bad take. Would this be a scandal if it was not a K-pop group? Like say like an alternative rock band did some weird video kind of based themed off of this or something. People might think, "Oh, this is kind of an artsy interesting way to cover a really controversial weird concept."
mm, if it was like an alt rock band, I don't think anyone would give a shit. If it was
Yeah,
if it was
like if
like a pop
Radiohead
art,
came out with this or something, you know, you'd be
Radiohead
like-
would. You just Radiohead is legit like yeah, yeah, let's go. But um I think if it was any pop or any artist like in a major public spotlight, I think would
yeah, I
still
guess
receive
because in pop you almost have like a responsibility to not
you have
do
to be
something like this.
you have to be vanilla,
Like,
right?
yeah,
You have
yeah.
to be you have to not try and
Rock
copy
is
each
edgy
other.
enough you can kind of be like, I'm gonna push the limits of a
Yeah,
concept.
that's kind of the point of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think obviously K-pop fans do tend to be more vocal than other fans about stuff that they find problematic
More
or controversial
political,
or whatever.
definitely in certain
Yeah.
senses, yeah.
And I think that's because it's such a highly you know international movement basically that and things aren't, because it's not localized. It's like, you get a lot more crossed wires and people expressing opinions and arguing about stuff all the time. And I think generally speaking, it does kind of annoy me when this kind of thing happened and people go, well, it changed my estimated time of arrival. Shut up, we do. I don't know why. I don't know why Jeff from the pub is the guy who listens to New Jeans and has an opinion on it. But it's like, if people from Spain are saying like, yo, this shit, something ain't right about this, like, give them let them speak, because this is what affected them. This is something that was part of their history and recent history.
It's a lot of coincidence. To be coincidence.
There's one thing I wanted to clear up. So the other name was Ava. The first name was Ava. And people said that that was the name of their first victim, but that's not. I don't think that's true. So there's that.
So some people are just like kind of throwing things in there that are kind of like. Got a mosquito attacking you mid-sentence.
Obviously, like it is speculative in general, but like I think the Miguel and Maria one are too obvious, but Ava is the one that's a bit questionable.
Especially it did the Basque spelling.
Yeah.
Which...
So basically a Basque historian weighed in on this. And she said that so there was one of the things they did, that in 1984 they assassinated a guy called Jose Larrañaga. I'm sorry, I'm terrible at this. On New Year's Eve, who was the leader of the Movimiento Nacional, which was a Francoist like public life organization, basically.
Yeah.
And he was the father of Eva Larrañaga, who she reckons is the one who's on the list. So she was like a prominent figure in general and related to them, but not their first victim, is what some people were initially reporting.
That's the problem when like people just start like dogpiling things in that aren't true, and the stuff that is true like getting all like mixed up together.
It's like you hear something and then you just repeat it without knowing what it was really about or whatever.
Yeah, because obviously if they used something like a first victim as a reference or whatever, that's like way worse than what they're actually like doing, essentially.
Yeah. And there's two Miquels who are involved in the organization. Miquel Irastorza and Miquel Anza, who led it from 2012 to 2016 and 1993 to 2004 respectively, which was before Larrañaga got killed, so it's not actually that.
If you had on my bingo card for this year a K-pop scandal was going to be that a video was themed behind a Basque terrorist group, I definitely would not have believed it. You know what I mean? It's just so out there and so unrelated to anything K-pop that I just don't even know how it is a thing that we are talking about. Like it is
it's pretty bizarre. And I think ultimately, so New Jeans, Adore put out this statement, kind of gaslighty wording, just being like, of course, ETA means estimated time of arrival. If you read it in different ways, then that's up to you, or whatever.
But what was their response to all the other stuff?
They haven't addressed it. So in the same way that, it kind of the way that they worded the response about the cookie controversy, right? They were like, it's about eating a cookie, guys. You're reading it because you're weird. You're reading it that way.
It's like when NCT describes like Make-A-Wish or something as like a, what is the
Highway to Heaven? They were like, yeah, it's about about like being an exciting moment with someone you love.
Yeah, didn't they do like a Genius lyrics where they had to be like,
yes. Trying not to say the word sex for 8 minutes, but yeah, it's. I don't know. Like you said, it's like why would they feel the need to do that, to add that extra element to it? Like I get that they're trying to be different and make a unique concept and stuff, but like if it's entirely coincidental, of which the chances I think are astronomically low, because why those names? That's the thing. It's just like why those names? I don't know about the setting or the car or anything like that, but why those names? It doesn't make sense. If it's purely coincidental, then it's a crazy, crazy coincidence. And they should address it and say, hey, this was a genuine coincidence. Like, here's us researching or making the contents for this. We didn't touch on this topic at all, and we're sorry that if we've upset people, because, like, you know, this is something that affected thousands of people. So
Yeah.
A bit of a messy situation.
In all this, I just feel bad for like the New Jeans members because they just want to make music and then have no idea. Like the company, you know, is just the ones like telling them basically this is the direction you're going. Each time that they come out with something, how are they supposed to know that it's going to be related to like all this crazy shit? You know, like if the song slaps really good, I wonder like how much the success is going to be affected by this.
Anyway, I don't think, like, there was some people trying to say, oh, let's boycott or whatever, but I don't think it's going to matter. Like, it's going to be an enormous
yeah, like in Korea, I wonder how much they care.
Well, so from what I could tell, the response was kind of like, oh, that's kind of unusual. Like, why? That's the strange thing to do a concept about.
Yeah, the whole thing is just like, why?
Yeah, people went outraged. They're just kind of like, oh, that's kind of weird. Like, strange is true, you know.
Like when you guys put it first in the Discord, my first thought was like, oh my god, how terrible, but just like confusion of like, how did we end up here? Like there wasn't someone in the meeting room that was just like, is there really a reason to cover something like this? You know, like, just
just like, guys, what about we don't do that?
Yeah, every K-pop company I feel like needs just like a person whose job is to research what the concept's related to and be like, hey yo, I don't think we need to be doing this.
But then but then there's so many weird things where that just cause outrage even without the remotest attempt at causing it, right? So like Karina just got crucified by Chinese fans because she recommended watching My Hero Academia.
Which there's a character, right, or something that is a World War II reference, I believe, or something.
Yeah, so it's like some doctor who does experiments or whatever, but like his name, but it's like they changed the name as a result of this. And she didn't even know about the previous name, so she's completely
because everyone expects Karina basically to have all of World War II's history in her mind.
Well, I think most people know about most people know, to put it in the mildest term as possible, Japan did a few naughty things when they were in China, but I think that she didn't know that the guy had a different name in the show before, and it was a reference to a particular Unit 731. And that the result is the anime is banned in China, but man, she's getting eaten up, and she's actually come out and apologized for it.
But she recommended to Chinese netizens or something to watch My Hero Academia, right? Like specifically, it was just like her bubble or something had like the.
Yeah, she was like, "I'm watching this. I like it." Like, yeah, how dare you? Yeah.
That's wild.
There's a lot of issues that are very sensitive, but I think that the reason I brought that up is because I feel like that's the kind of thing that, like, anytime when there's something that people are upset about that you don't understand, it's because it's not contextualized for you personally, right? Like we haven't personally been affected by Basque separatism, but that doesn't mean that it's not an issue that needs paying respect towards, in the same way that we haven't been directly affected by Japanese war crimes in China, but that doesn't mean that it's not something that we shouldn't pay respect towards. You know, it's
just lame when stuff like this happens, because it's gonna make like K-pop idols just never post anything personal ever.
Yeah.
They'll just be like, all right, you know what? I'm just never gonna talk about anything. Because every time I do, I just seem to be getting in like hot water.
That's kind of like that's what Heechul's policy has been lately. It's like literally anything I do or say, people get mad about it. So I'm just gonna stop. Like
everything will just start becoming like official sanctioned post. Essentially by the company itself, where the artist is just almost never talking personally from their own point of view of anything, which is really lame to see happen. Like it's like people, I guess they do have to find that balance somewhere, is that
people want the artists to be free and have their own voice and everything, but
Or
then
you're Lily from NMIX, and you're literally
Jump
talking about like
saying
if
whatever.
I murder someone, like this scenario would be how it would happen. Or something.
I like the idea of JYP's like outside the room, like wringing his hands, like, "Oh God, what is she gonna say?"
Yeah, but that's something she literally brought up, like the fake murder scenario.
I think someone asked her. They were like, "Hey, would you murder someone if you had to?" And
Which
she was
normally
like,
I feel like an idol would see and just be like,
They
oh,
would
no,
skip over
never, or something. And she was
Or
like,
just
let
not
me think
answer
about
it.
it.
It's like, let's talk about this. Yeah.
I think that's like the Australian in
Yeah.
Okay. Continuing on.
So, since you came here, I thought you can give your feelings about what life in Seoul was like, how you from the week and a half that you experienced.
Yeah, well, it's like the tourist experience is obviously never the living there experience or whatever. Like that's always you have to separate those. Like, obviously, if I was living there, I wouldn't be going out every night and drinking. Like,
No.
Otherwise, I'd have a very quick problem.
Yeah, I mean, it was certainly it was a change of pace for me because like obviously like the timing of it coincided with like the national holiday. It was like Buddha's birthday or whatever it was or something.
Yeah.
Which is like hilarious. We were like, it's like, right, it's Buddha's birthday. I get to spend Monday night like going out and getting wasted, which is something I don't normally do.
Well, and then like I'm not usually as much of a social butterfly as my brother is, as Gordon going around town. Where it's like, let's go to Hongdae until 5 a.m.
But it wasn't. I was like, oh, let's just check out a bar or two. At like we'd say that at like 10 p.m. and then oh, it's 3 in the morning now.
Yeah, like 2 games of darts, and you look at your phone and you're like, now it's 3 a.m.
2 games of darts and a Hungarian guy in a bathroom, and before you know it, you're being accosted by some Korean guy who calls himself Dragon.
Yeah, who kept buying birthday drinks, and I already had a drink. Yeah. So it's like now I have 2 drinks. And
it was this guy's birthday, by the way. So everyone who watches, all 5 of you, you need to leave comments saying happy birthday.
Yeah. Definitely. Even though it's like long gone now.
Yeah.
Definitely my favorite was the Gwangi 22 was definitely the most fun. Giwon, excuse me. Giwon 22.
Yeah, the 22s are good.
Both were cool, but definitely the one with our friends was like the best experience. So we made friends with like 4 bartenders.
You taught a bartender to say "Sir, dude," like he's
yeah. We taught one of the bartenders the like most California way to introduce yourself. It's like "Sir, dude," which is like the most like very specific, like if you're in like Manhattan Beach way of introducing yourself.
Yeah, and like the vibe switch is so funny because it's like these places are like, you know, jazz playing, like the bartender's like, you know, tux wearing, like very classy vibes, right? It's like the kind of place that you'd see like Sinatra drinking at. but then once you get to talking to the people, they're so like, you know, fun and open and bubbly and stuff. You know?
I want to imagine he's gonna do that introduction when he's in California, or that becomes like a thing in that part of Seoul or something. You know, which it's like a way my cousin and friends like introduce ourselves. It's not even like a universally California way of like showing up. Yeah, it's very niche like thing. To like the fact that Slangeva became like a Cheers inside of that bar was like the Scottish like Cheers, you know?
Yeah.
Because I remember I was like, no, I'll do like whatever your version of Cheers is, like Jong, or which was what Eri taught me, which is apparently like the very feminine way of Cheers. I don't care. Like I'll still do it. Like, but then he's like, no, I like Slangeva, and he's like, Slangeva, like bang the bar. It's like, I love to imagine that other like foreigners strolled in that bar and that guy's just like, "Saw, dude," and doing Slangeva.
No matter what, someone will be like, some like burly Turk, and like, "Saw, dude," like.
Hey, if it becomes a thing in that part, I want to take credit.
Yeah, you absolutely should. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess you got like a pretty good kind of cross section of like different parts of Seoul and stuff. Like, obviously, you couldn't see everything. You didn't get to
No, it's impossible in
experience
that
it
amount of
all,
time.
but you got like the foreigner heavy areas, and then you got some of the more like local areas. You got like different
Yeah, I must say I
kinds of
liked
stuff.
Myeongdong quite a bit because I didn't feel like it was such a going in. People kind of said it was gonna be a really foreigner heavy area,
Yeah,
and it didn't feel like that when you're there. It felt like it was a lot more of like Korean people going about their day kind of area.
it depends which direction you walk in. I think like on the first day when I met you, and then we walked like down into the main like street area, like that's pretty foreigner heavy. But then
Oh
when
yeah,
we went,
where all the food carts were and stuff like that.
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
But remember where like our second hotel was? That was like a really interesting kind of
Yeah, that area is more
area to
like
walk around, and Giwon area is kind of like an interesting kind of pathway to take to because you almost seem
yeah,
like
the
you're
little
walking
like
down an alley kind of
those
thing.
little alleys. Yeah, that's like my favorite thing about Seoul is like those little alleys, and you see those like side streets and stuff where you just have like you look down it, there's just like all these neon signs, and you're just like, well, I mean, I want to check everything out here. Like everything looks enticing, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. It seemed like I didn't have enough time to ever go down all those alleys,
No,
like
yeah,
and the different bars.
because I think like the instinct when you see a place like that, you're like, oh, this is like the cool area, like, and it's like, no, there's like hundreds of these streets,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, this is just
I
normal.
I must say, like in retrospect, like that area was actually like my brother loved going to Grandma's Chicken and just getting a ice cold beer
Grandma's
and
beer.
fried chicken. Like
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
which it was a night. Like it was right outside of our hotel, so for him it was extremely convenient to be like, I'm going to Grandma's
I'm
Chicken.
going to grandma's.
Like yeah, yeah. But yeah, Gangnam um was a cool area, but I don't think I would spend a lot of my time there
Mm.
for when we were like actually there, just because like I don't know, it's not as expensive as like it's played out to be. I'm sure you could easily spend a lot of money, but
Yeah, you can.
in the US you could very easily spend more money.
Yeah,
Like
it's like Beverly Hills or whatever. But
no, like
it's,
drinks in LA were way more expensive than the ones I was spending in Gangnam and stuff like that. So I wasn't
yeah,
complaining.
and we did like a fairly pricey thing in Gangnam anyway. Like we went for like premium Hanwoo and for like
God, it
two
was
hundred
so
bucks
good
or whatever.
though.
Oh my god.
I was dying just having that like
Yeah,
high
best
quality beef like that.
best
Like,
pizza you'll ever eat. But
yeah,
obviously you can go to Gangnam and go to a cheap barbecue place and not spend a huge amount of money.
yeah.
And then we went to like a nice bar there as well. And then that again, we didn't have to go and spend loads of money there.
One of my favorite meals was actually we went to Hongdae and we had like Haha's and Jungkook's restaurant was actually really good. Like
Yeah,
the
four. Is it? It's got like 451 or something. I think it's called. Yeah, it's good.
I
Just like pork,
I've
barbecue pork.
left South Korea believing that samjang is one of the greatest inventions that ever happened in
Very true.
humanity. Like
Very true.
samjang sauce could just be put on meat and lettuce and instantly give you the perfect meal. Like it's like
Yeah, I think at Haha and John Cook's place, it's like you get like all the ingredients for the perfect sam, right? Like the lettuce wrap, and you put like the pork belly in. But then it's like if you're eating just the pork belly by itself, it can be a bit fatty. But then you mix it with like the vegetables and a healthy dose of samjang, and
yeah.
you like, oh.
Well, remember we went to
One
like
bang in.
the one that where you could make like all you could eat essentially, all you could drink
Yeah.
kind of thing too, and then I just came back with like only samjang sauce
Giant
and
bowl
kimchi.
of it.
I
And
just had a
kimchi.
giant bowl of kimchi because it was like a serve yourself one, and there was all these different things you could grab, and I was like, I just need a whole bunch of samjang and a whole bunch of kimchi like right now. That is all I need in my life. Like,
Yeah.
and Terra beer. It's like,
Yeah, yeah. Good. I mean, Gordon was picking out like we would go to the convenience store and he was getting cans of Terra. I'm like, no one drinks this outside of restaurants, you lunatic. Like, what are
yeah,
you
but no,
doing? He's like,
for him, whatever
local
like
thing.
is the basic beer that goes along with food, he will just keep getting that. Like,
I could tell.
yeah.
And you got into Hot Six as well,
Yes,
the Korean monster.
I was living off of Hot Six at one point. Which when you drink a Hot Six and then you go for like an 8-hour walk of a palace,
Yeah.
you start feeling that maybe I shouldn't have had Hot Six this morning or whatever, because you're doing like full workout essentially when you're covering 8 miles of
It
like,
hurts like this.
yeah. You believe you need it, then you're doing all that walking, and you're like, maybe I shouldn't have had Hot Six this morning.
I mean, it's not the only thing that got your heart a fluttering, was it?
You hadn't been to Well, I will publicly air my romantic tryst as I'm a gentleman.
You won't air it, yeah.
I lived a bit.
You already said her name once in this episode.
Yeah, did I? Okay. I had a 2-day K-drama experience to end my trip. As you do.
On his actual birthday and everything.
Yeah, it was perfect.
It was like suddenly he just disappeared off the face of the earth for some time.
Yeah.
And he was living. And apparently he's very attractive to locals because he was getting DMs from people.
I'm Paul Rudd from Clueless.
Yeah, Clueless era Paul Rudd apparently. Just people were left and right being like, what was it when you went to that bar that Goran went to the first time, and then you went in and they're like, "Whoa, you didn't tell me that your brother is a movie star."
Oh
like,
no, that was like towards the
handsome guy here. Like
that guy was playing. That guy was rizzing me up. He was playing me up inside the Apparently, my brother went to like that bar before I ever did the night before because I had left him all alone for like 48 hours, and then.
You were busy.
And then he's like, "Hey, you have to come to this bar. It was really cool. Like the food was good, and it was a strangely themed bar because there was like Caribbean stuff going on inside, and then as the theme, and then there's like Italian food being served, and then the booze is like cocktails not themed to Italian stuff at all. Right. So the owner was there too, and he's quite the eccentric guy running around everywhere playing like when you get there though the music was like George Thorogood. So I was like, so many conflicting themes happening.
What is going on?
But I was like, I'm in it. You know what? Like
sure, yeah.
I had like what was probably the best cocktail I've had. One of the top 5 best cocktails I've ever had in my life there. I'm blanking on what the fruit was, but it was like a region fruit to Korea or whatever that they made the cocktail out of. So it was something I'd never tasted in like my life. And it was really good. Food was good, all that stuff. And then the guy that my brother had been talking to, I guess in like perfect English, he spoke perfect English, came up out of nowhere and just like grabbed me by the shoulder as I was eating. He's like, "Oh, like you're the handsome brother." Like that he was like, "Yeah, like I was like, I guess I'm handsome if you're telling me I'm handsome. Thank you." Like just came up and was like, yeah, like fully conversing in fluent English to me, telling me that I looked like an actor or whatever, and I was like, I appreciate it, but like,
I had that comment once from my friend's dad, but the same friend of mine who just released that EP incidentally. Like her dad was giving me a lift at one point, and he was like saying to her in Korean, he was like, "Oh, he looks like an actor." And I was like, "That's very kind of you," but I don't know. I mean, actors can be attractive and not attractive. So.
Yeah, it always makes you wonder, like, what actor? Because you're not giving me a specific name. Yeah. Like your whole friend group gave me like a very specific reference of who they thought I looked like. But...
Yeah. I think I'm more of like a Robbie Coltrane. But yeah, and then of course we have to point out that you're a worldwide famous celebrity as well, because you were recognized by the French.
If you like, that's one of those things. You put that on my bingo card, I'm gonna be at like a Hongdae, right? Hongdae bar, and a French girl in a beret is gonna recognize you. Was not on my list. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was almost like I couldn't believe it. I was like, "You're wearing a beret." Like I was like,
I mean, she's French. That's kind of their right and everything. But yeah, it's hilarious. Honestly, when I saw that they saw that they pieced it together, and they didn't know me. I'm like, oh, you're only here for the reactions. You didn't stay for the podcast.
No.
Unbelievable.
To be fair, I don't know what, maybe they saw like 2 videos, you know, like ever of our channel or something, like a Blackpink react or something. Most likely an NCT react, because they were there to see NCT.
Right, yeah.
That was like happening the day before, the next day or something.
Yeah, even my friend was even like, she's like, I thought I recognized you from somewhere, and it's because she'd seen one of your Dreamcatcher reactions.
Yeah. It's usually a Dreamcatcher or like Blackpink reaction when someone recognizes us, I feel like, which because those have a lot more views comparatively sometimes. Like
bigger fan base, but still pretty funny that you had fans in a bar.
It was hilarious. I just was not at that point. We were like 4 a.m. in Hongdae, and you know, my brother had exhausted my social capabilities basically at that point. He had been flying as a social butterfly for a very long time at that time. And you and me were just outside like telling the guy like, I listened to IVE.
Okay. You weren't telling the guy you listened to IVE. You were screaming Jang Won-young at him because you were saying IVE and he wasn't understanding because...
To be fair, he understood once I did that.
Yeah, yeah. Once he said, once he go Jang Won-young, like,
he was like, "Oh, IVE" was the pronunciation that I was missing. I guess like the.
I had been, I don't know, I'd stayed inside for a bit longer, and when I came out, that was the first thing I see is you just accosting this Korean guy, just shouting Jang Won-young at him, and I'm like, what are you doing?
To be fair, he got very excited when he realized who I was talking about.
Yeah, he was up for it, but I was like, oh god, leave the man alone.
I had been asked the question before I had started like kind of shouting IVE or whatever, because he had just kind of said to me like, what group do you listen to? And I kept trying to say IVE, and my pronunciation wasn't proper of it. Like it's IVE or whatever, right?
I did.
Yeah. And I was just like IVE. Yeah. Like I'm telling someone a story or something almost.
Yeah, it'd be very strange if like trying to understand that in like a different language that it's not your native language, and you're like, wait, it's like I understand these words, but I don't understand.
Yeah. Like I've heard this. I've heard this somewhere. Yeah. I should have just done the Love Dive choreography or something, but
just
because he was just like yelling BTS back at me, thinking like I listened to BTS, assuming like
you were basically a Twitter argument without.
BTS. Yeah. Maybe he thought I was staying there waiting for the BTS thing that was gonna happen at Han River or whatever.
That actually looked pretty cool. Some of my coworkers went to that.
It was a massive thing, right? Like
huge to play. Yeah. But I mean, like, it was like you could not walk in that area. I guess, like it was packed.
If I was to surmise, like the trip up, Myeongdong would be an area I'd be like, if I stayed or lived there, like would be an area I'm really interested in, because it was such a I felt like I got everywhere really easily.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed the area itself being there. Yeah. And I just liked being so close to Giwon 22. Like I felt like we all homied up with like everyone who works there, you know.
Shouts out to the Giwon 22 people. They're good.
They were an awesome bar. They posted on like an Instagram thing that's like a first year anniversary coming up, so you should go like see if you can hit that.
They've only been there for a year.
Yeah, you should go hit that up. I think it's happening soon, like a first anniversary thing. They have like an event.
Cool.
Gangnam was like a place you can go have incredible meat, is what I think of Gangnam. Like, and that interesting bar we went to.
Imbibe.
Which, when you get there, you look like you're walking to like a very shady room, and then you get this very.
You're going into the basement of some like dingy building, and then you like slide a door, and then it's
which like, a lot of it is kind of like that. You walk in, you're like. And then you get in this super fancy room out of nowhere, you know? Like,
it's like the exterior versus interior decoration.
I'm blanking the name. What was the Hongdae, like, end of Hongdae bar we went to where the guy makes drinks? You don't, like, order a specific drink. He asks
Oh, God, I forget.
He asks what you like,
when we were going there.
And then he makes you a drink. Like,
it's got, like, big and small. Or
something like that. But it was a really cool place as well. Hongdae for me is just 5 a.m., you know, Every
Yeah.
time I think of it, it's 5 a.m. no matter what.
Yeah.
And then
We went for that banging ramen in Habsong near
oh, dude,
Hongdae.
that was the best. I've been to Tokyo, and somehow the best ramen I ever had in my life was in Seoul. Like I can't wrap my mind
This was
around that.
literally like a Michelin guide.
It
ramen.
was. It had like 5
Like,
Michelin guide things in a row, but it was
yeah.
so good. Oh my god. The meat in that was the most
So
tenderized,
soft. Yeah.
like
Oh my
absorbed
God.
in spicy ramen broth. But I felt like a barbarian the way I was like consuming that broth at the end, because I was like a Viking grabbing their bowl and
can't
just
leave that behind.
like
Yeah.
you know.
God.
Oh my god, it was. Now that remembered the full taste of that broth, you just bringing that place up. Now, the best meal I think I had the whole time I was there might have legitimately been. I don't know. The beef was definitely the best meal I had while I was there, but
We ate well.
we did. The samjang sauce is just like something I need to find, because I could drink that out of a bottle. Like it is so flavorful and good.
You can
like,
make it. You can make it
out of gochujang and something, right? Yeah.
Gochujang and soybean.
But would I make it that good? That's the thing.
Maybe make it better.
Like where out of the areas we went to, where would be like the area you'd relatively like want to live in?
To live in, shit, I don't know. I wouldn't mind living in Gangnam, but that's just because it's like a status thing.
Yeah,
Like,
I get that.
like, yeah,
like
I live in
I
Gangnam.
definitely feel like we didn't explore it as much as we could because we don't have
only
time.
Really went down like one
Yeah,
street.
like there's definitely more to see.
And I think it would also be like nice to be in proximity to a lot of stuff that happens, you know.
Yeah.
There's probably clubs there that I wouldn't get turned away from being too old.
Yes, the K-pop club, Oliver, we got turned away for being.
We were like marauding the streets of Hongdae trying to find. Like we went to some like club on its opening night, which is like a really cool spot, but it was like super dead. Like no one was there.
Yeah.
We drank some very strong drinks. And then we were like looking around and like there were huge queues for some clubs and like, or they were like charging a lot of money to get in and stuff. And there was like a K-pop club, and I remember we walked by and it was playing. Oh, I remembered seeing it before, so we walked there, and then like Teddy Bear was playing us from outside or something. And it was like this could be fun, you know. I mean, we tried to go in, the guy's like, nah.
You were like just like, barely over the age limit of it.
They said that it's they were like the age limit is 19 to 29. And I was like,
to be fair, I did not want to be like hanging around 19-year-olds.
Sure, but I didn't know. I didn't think it would be that many. I was willing to just go
the other dudes going in after us looked older than us. That was the funny thing. The Hapjeong was a really cool area we went to. That was really nice. We went to the old signature building.
Yes.
Yeah, Myeongdong, just because for me would have been my favorite if I chose a place to live, I guess, because of how easy it was to be like, I'm gonna go here and go there.
Yeah.
Which it's like so central to everything. And then I felt like I was living locally in a lot of spots there too, like experiencing like a local vibe.
It's very easy to take like a walk off the beaten path, you know, and just go somewhere that suddenly you don't see any foreigners at all.
Well, one of my favorite memories in Myeongdong was we ended up kind of in an area where it was very clearly me and Gordon were the only foreigners there.
Right.
And then kind of trying to look at restaurants, but obviously there was no Romanized anything to order or go in. So we were kind of like, God, we're so hungry, but I don't really know how to go in here and order properly. And then this lady just like comes outside, this like old grandma comes outside of this pork restaurant where they just fed you kind of like pork dishes and things like that.
Yeah.
And then just grabbed us and was like didn't say anything, just like get inside, like sat us down at like the table and then just like pointed like I'm bringing you this and this, and then like this is what you're having, like enjoy it, essentially, just like, which was perfect because I was like sick, you know. There we go.
Great.
Like
Thank you,
perfect. I'm so hungry, like I just want, we must have just looked so disheveled and hungry where she's like, okay fine, I'm just gonna like
these two poor Americans lost outside.
Which was delicious, dude. Like, oh my gosh, some of the best pork I'd ever had in my life. She just like throws it on the thing, cooks it up. Like, tossed it on the. It was kind of like Korean barbecue. It was a little different because the sauces were not like samjang and stuff. It was very tangy, kind of sweet sauces we were having, and didn't bring like the lettuce with it, but brought us like a tofu soup that was very spicy with it and stuff. She gave us like hangover soup, I think. She's like, you need this or whatever, and then we got beer too, and it was like, there you go. Now I'm whole again. Like, but I thank you to that lady, like saved us that day when we were just starving and did not know how we were gonna order because we'd gone very far off like the main path.
Yeah,
we walked so much further than we expected. Definitely when you're there, someone should see that main palace. I don't remember the name, but it was incredible. And you haven't been.
I haven't been to the main one. No.
You have to go, dude. It's like one of the most incredible things I've ever seen in my life, if not just like
You saw like the dudes in like the full like regalia. With
they do like a performance kind of thing too while you're there, but just seeing like the main throne room and like the architecture of that, how incredible it was. Like just someone made that back then, you know. Like
right,
you're just like how like it's so incredibly designed, like hand designed by each little thing, has like a almost like a story going on in like the mural above the throne. It's unreal. Like you realize how like lame your own culture is when you're there. You see like American culture when I come back and I'm like but even then like our British culture's like architecture, like
we got a lot of castles.
No, you do. I just don't feel like your castles are that dope compared to that kind of design going on, you know, like I just made like every British person in the world hate me in like one sentence.
I think generally we get cleared by Europe for like impressive palaces and castles and stuff.
Yeah, it was just like unlike anything I've ever seen, obviously. And that's just like yeah,
it's pretty cool.
I want to go back for a much longer extended period of time to truly like delve myself in. I did see like Yeonidong and like some things that were very outside like the main Seoul, where I really was just like the only foreigner. It probably within a decent radius walking around or whatever.
That you turn heads when you're there.
Yeah. But I enjoyed all the experiences there. It was awesome. I think so far in my life, it's my favorite place I've been yet, and I've been to Tokyo and really in Barcelona and Madrid, but that might be because I got to hang out with you and some really cool locals. And
I'm a great tour guide.
It was very enjoyable. I
can't
wait
have to give a
back.
shout out to the Queen's Guard, right? The British Korean owned bar.
Oh yeah. The Welsh guy, right?
The Welsh, Chris. Who doesn't know like
that was a very
what
cool
he's
bar.
Doing.
I really liked that
good-hearted. But yeah, it's like set. I love that because we walked up there right from where your hotel was, because you can walk from Gyeongdong up to Jongno, and like that area I really like that area because it's more like old style. Like the buildings are more like old-fashioned and stuff. And we walked like along the temple wall, like that. It's like that beautiful wall, and there's just all these like bars and cafes and restaurants and people on dates and stuff.
Yeah,
and we're just like three loud foreigners.
Everyone was having their date night, and we just strolled in like I'm here, like three guys just wrong.
But like right at the tip is a like a British pub, ostensibly, not in like a it's more of a refined bar than a pub atmosphere, but yeah, it's run by a Welsh dude and his Korean wife, and she's very much has the handle on how to run a bar, and he very much doesn't, which makes for comedy gold when you're watching them interact. And he's like, "What do I do?"
Shouting at him about the orders.
Like, "You fucking donkey! You need to go and give them this." He's like, "Oh, right, sorry."
I mean, you had a great experience there too, because you got to have like, what was the dessert you got to have? You hadn't had in forever.
Oh, the tea kit. They had a tea kit. Oh.
And a beer that you hadn't had like in forever too.
Yeah, I had a king goblin, a king hobgoblin.
I had the authentic British experience because I had never had what was the drink? I had Pimm's. And I'd never had that.
Oh boy,
that was refreshing, to be honest.
British summertime, that that's where our cuisine shines, is putting fruit and alcohol in a cup.
Actually, one of my favorite things is the highballs in Seoul.
Oh yeah, they love a highball.
Dude, just like going in a fried chicken place, getting a highball is a 10 out of 10 experience in Seoul. If you're there, I highly recommend it. Like that and the fried chicken together. I can't eat fried chicken now. Like US fried chicken is trash compared to South Korean fried chicken. Like the Seoul fried chicken was so good. Like it's disappointing to come home and have just trash California fried chicken.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
Well, obviously, it's like you can go to a place in like Georgia or whatever and have great fried chicken.
Of course,
like I think the average chicken shop in the West or in America is like just somewhat. It just gets cleared by Korea. It's not even close. Yeah, we ate good.
Yeah.
Did eat good.
I can't wait to go back. It was a 10 out of 10 experience. I want to spend a much lengthier time there next time. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'm sure your lady friends would like that too.
No, I'm gonna be a model citizen next time I'm back. And we should go to Busan.
Oh, to see that other girl?
No, what are you talking? I didn't say that. I just want to go see the beaches and stuff. And I've heard it's supposed to be a uniquely different place from Seoul.
Yeah, I've heard some. I remember my mom telling me she got threatened in Busan.
What?
She was like, yeah, but before I moved here, she was like, oh, like, are you sure you want to go to Korea? It seems really dangerous. And I was like what? Like, we live in London. Yeah. Crazy. And she was like, yeah, I stopped in Busan once, and then like I went to this like a famous monastery there or something, and she said that she tried to take a picture of some old woman who was doing some handmade crafts or something, and the woman like pulled a knife on her and told her to like fuck off for taking a picture of. And I'm like, well, yeah, you just tried to photograph a random person without her consent, like in a monastery of all places. Like, you should have had more respect. She's like, oh, I just think it'd be very dangerous.
I was like, Tokyo and Seoul are two of the safest experiences I've ever had in my life. Like, where if I can stroll down an alley at like 5 a.m. and not fear for my life, then
it's not even a second of thought, like, this might not be the safest spot. Like,
I've never felt more safe. Like, you cannot do that in the United States.
No, you can't do it in England
without asking for extreme danger to occur.
Yeah,
like,
you don't even have to like worry. Like, and you can leave your stuff, like, just walk off, and like no one's gonna take it or do anything. Like,
yeah, I mean, sometimes I mean, obviously, like, you still should always take care of yourself in a well-mannered manner, but like, I left my bag sometimes just like sitting on like the chair and going off and to go to the bathroom and come back, and no fear of like someone's gonna like, unless I was filled in a place with a bunch of other Americans or something.
Yeah, unironically, that is the only places you ever have to worry about anything is like in Itaewon or whatever, where it's just for the fun.
Which that was the one experience where me and Goran went there for like a hot minute, and then the social butterfly in him even was just like, let's go. Back. I guess it felt like being on like a spring break there, and my spring break days are past.
Right.
Like,
yeah, maybe it's one would hit different if we were like
if I was
younger.
21, maybe like that would have been like the most. I would have been there like every night or something,
right.
But you're there, and I'm just like, let's go back to Myeongdong. Let's go back to Giwon.
Which fortunately is not that far away. So
yeah.
Had that. Yeah, I mean, what was it? Oh yeah, we went to the river as well, right?
Han River was awesome. Just next time I would definitely get like fried chicken and fried chicken beer, up to the Han River.
You can straight up order it on delivery. Like,
that's what we should do next time. The Doritos that my brother got were like a little strange.
Yeah, just had there eating Doritos, sitting with our feet hanging out over the river.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was still awesome though. The jet ski thing there is really cool too.
Yeah, you see these dudes like driving around on jet skis. Like, you can rent or like hire them to like just drive you around on the river, and they just do tricks and shit and splash you.
Yeah, I can't wait to go back, dude. That's maybe Ava's talking about having a trip. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
that would be my birthday again.
Anyone who wants to come to Seoul, just hit me up. I'll take you to
Yeah,
some of
Oliver
my
is a wonderful tour guide.
spots.
Like
Yeah.
you found all those 22 places and stuff. That ended up being
did.
like some of my favorite spots.
Yeah, mine too. I should go back to G1 for that. It'll be disappointing when I go and it's just me. I don't bring you guys.
You just bring like a cutout of me and Gore. You gotta see if he says "saw," dude, when you walk in.
Yeah, maybe if I say it to him, he'll remember.
Yeah.
Right, I gotta show this. Our cutout. There you go. There we are.
Yeah, I have it as well.
See that.
I have it here.
Hell yeah. We did that on the final night.
At a 5 a.m. in Myeongdong. There's
like it was like 2 a.m. It was like we came out of out of G1 on the.
It was interesting. The weekend there was more shut down than like a Thursday night.
Yeah, in some places, yeah.
In Myeongdong specifically, I think just because they expect maybe everyone's in like Gangnam or Itaewon or like in a different place.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Overall,
all those photo booths, like just so many photo booths. Like, I guess we should go to one of them and take a picture. Like,
yeah, I guess to just conclude this, I'm moving there. That's
yeah.
That's what happened. Actually, this is from Seoul right now. This is my Seoul apartment.
Your backdrop doesn't look too different to mine.
Yeah, it doesn't look that different. Like, what's funny is this room's actually bigger than the one I was in before. It's just the way I'm angled now is like the wrong angle for looking like through the whole room.
Mine isn't. This is my house, and like this window. This opens to the street. This is the street up here. I'm down.
I love the idea that like one half of my hotel room was like your apartment.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, jeez. I can't wait to go back. That was, I guess, concludes this episode. Yeah. I loved Seoul. I advise anyone who ever should absolutely go. I would go for longer, like a month. I would suggest would definitely be like a perfect amount of time. I feel like. But I feel like still saw a decent amount.
In a month, you could do like Korea as well. You wouldn't just have to stay in Seoul. Like, you could do it. You could check out other places.
I saw quite a bit, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah. We kept hitting the ground quite early. I mean, the first time I was there was quite early. So, like, I was not sleeping properly. I was just waking up and going, like, everywhere.
Yeah.
Yep. This has been the K-pop podcast. I'm Honan.
I'm Oliver.
Goodbye.